You ready?
Yeah, let's go. Wow, I can fit everything in here.
And some more. And apparently
some more dice. Welcome to the Cardmarket feature match, where we play paper magic.
But not any kind of paper magic, we play your paper magic. Because for this episode, we asked you to send in your spiciest Pioneer brews, and we picked from among them.
In the community tab, so if you're subscribed, you get to see for the next time if you want to send in your deck. In the meantime, let's see what kind of spice we're working with.
Since we're picking our Pioneer deck lists from the community post today, I picked Jaden's Green-Black Hardened Scales. The deck is basically a mixture of two different standard decks from different times. It's the Green-Black Counters deck from like Kaladesh, kinda the Aether Revolt era, and a Green-White version was played back in Khans of Tarkir or Dragons of Tarkir with Hardened Scales. So it's a mixture of both. I get to play Hangerback Walker, I get to play Hardened Scales, I get to play Winding Constrictor. It's a bunch of good cards, but the best one is missing. Walking Ballista is banned in Pioneer. Now, we did get some interesting additions from Phyrexia All Will Be One and Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. We've got a new Apprentice, which is also a construct and distributes +1/+1 counters, kind of like Arcbound Worker, but that's not Pioneer legal. And we also get Drown in Ichor, a nice removal spell that lets us proliferate, and ideally the proliferation will be even more effectful when combined with Winding Constrictor or Hardened Scales. It's gonna be crazy.
Going through the emails for the decks that were submitted to us, one of them stuck out to me because if you ask Francesco, there's three things that are inevitable in life: death, taxes, and Eldrazi for some reason. So what Francesco did is he took an Orzhov Death and Taxes list, which is a normal list where you have an aggro element that is backed up by making your opponent's life difficult. You've got Thalia Guardian of Thraben to make their spells cost more. You've got Thoughtseize to take the best cards out of their hand. You've got Skyclave Apparition, which exiles their things. It's an aggro deck that slows things down on your opponent's side while you beat them down. But in this case, there's a Thought-Knot Seer, which is a huge 4/4 that also takes a card out of their hand, continuing to the game plan. You see how they work well together. Now, the thing about Thought-Knot Seer is there's a small pip here where it's a colorless mana. That doesn't mean you can just tap 4 of any color. It's 3 of any color and one that has to be colorless. So we are playing some waste, but also Field of Rin can tap for colorless, and it does things that you want generally in Death and Taxes anyways. Francesco gave me a true gem.
Okay,
yes.
Well, I consider this a pretty sweet deck too.
Let's see if you can shake what Jaden gave you, but let's see if you can shake these dice first. Want a high roll?
Sure. What?
Yeah, sure.
All right, come on, match this. One time.
Nah.
Oh!
You weren't far off. I would like to go first.
All right.
Good luck.
And to you.
Have fun. I wish you no mulligans, but I still hope that in the end, I win.
Yeah, I hope you have the best luck that still leaves it possible for me to win. And not only possible, but also that's the thing that happens.
This hand doesn't have a lot of pressure, but we know that we're playing user-submitted decks, and in this metagame, I'm assuming Yaman's gonna take something kind of wild, something kind of janky that has a few pieces that if you take those pieces out, the rest of the deck doesn't really function, and this hand has a Thoughtseize, which allows me to look in Yaman's hand and take something out. And I have the Keeper, so it's another effect that can get something in the hand to shut down Yaman's inevitable janky combo deck that he's probably playing. And if he's doing something with the graveyard, I've got the Trespasser for that anyways, so I don't have a lot of raw sticking power early, but I have a lot of interaction, which is where I want to be. Since I don't know what you're playing, I think I'm just incentivized to keep this.
This hand seems a bit awkward and triple constrictor is kind of weird, but it does have a nice curve to it where I can go turn 2 Hangerback, hope it sticks around, then Constrictor and activate Hangerback to get it up to a 3/3, even potentially block with it. So I'm gonna keep it. All right, yeah, I'm keeping this too.
I will start things off with a tapped Shadowed Sanctum. I know people usually almost always start these on turn 1, but it's unlikely that I want to get whatever 1-drop Yaman is playing, and I don't have a 2-drop in this hand. Also, my mana is kind of awkward, so I would rather play a tap land. Don't need to play Thoughtseize here. I don't really have a lot of 2-drops in my deck anyways, so next turn I untap, I develop my mana, and I get Yaman to put an extra card in his hand that I can Thoughtseize. Don't always Thoughtseize on turn 1, sometimes it's a trap.
My turn?
Yes.
I'll take my draw, I'll play a Blooming Marsh, and pass the turn.
I would love it if we both picked decks that were just lands. They don't do anything else. No, I'll see what is up. I'll see what Jaden gave you. I'm gonna play a Caves of Colas.
No!
And I'm going to Thoughtseize you. That was a very good howl.
It's a mystery card? And these 6.
That's very redundant.
Would you like to pick the
I would like to see the mystery card. Do I get the option, either the mystery card or all the 6?
It's not a Liliana ultimate.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a Hangerback
That's
Walker.
a good one, especially with these 3 cards.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Hangerback Walker.
Thoughtseize is absolutely terrible. It's actually like the worst thing that could have happened. Down to 18 you go.
Yep.
My turn?
Yes.
I'll draw. This is something. Okay, is this like a Magic Online bug in real life? I'll play a Dark Boar Pathway.
Okay.
And I will play a Winding Constrictor. That was very slow.
Yeah, that took a while.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll untap, I'll draw. I'll play Caves of Kolos, and I know that you have a lot of them in your hand, so I feel like this is good. I'm gonna play an Anointed Peacekeeper.
No!
I'm gonna target you.
You see the huge joke that my draw was.
I don't think you shuffled your deck enough. As he enters the battlefield, I look at your hand and then choose a card name, and spell you cast of that name cost 2 more to cast, and activated abilities of that card cost 2 more to cast. Now, do I cut off the 2 Winding Constrictors from your hand, or the Walking Ballista, at least for a while? And I think the answer here is Winding Constrictor.
Oh.
I'm gonna name Winding Constrictor.
All right, they are very expensive now.
Yep, they all cost 4. Go ahead.
It turns out the 2/3 that costs 4 with the effect of Winding Constrictor is much worse. I'm gonna play another Dark Boar Pathway, but actually I'll play this one on the other side.
Yeah, the other Dark Boar is Dark Boring.
Yeah, Slither Boring is much more interesting. I'll tap all 3 of my lands to cast a Defiant Salvager. Now that one is a draft gem you haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
From Ether Revolt, 3 mana 2/2, not very strong. Sacrifice an artifact or a creature. Put a +1/+1 counter on Defiant Salvager. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. I could also do it right now.
I'm waiting.
All right, no.
The anticipation is coming.
Please go ahead.
I'll untap, I'll draw. I will take 1 damage, going to 17.
17.
Because I'm going to make white colorless, and play a Skyclave Apparition.
Oh, that's a good one.
You said sorcery, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to target the Winding Constrictor,
Yep. It's gone.
and that can't do anything in response. Once my Skyclave Apparition leaves the battlefield, you get a 2/2.
4.
I'm going to attack for 3.
Yep. Down to 17.
Oh, we're matched.
Yeah,
I
we
just
are.
wanted to get you on the same level.
Of course.
Go ahead.
I'll untap. I will draw. Well, that's kind of a timely one. It's a Llanowar Waste.
Oh, because now you get to play your Constrictors.
Yeah. Which I'm not sure if I want to do it, because if you keep playing Skyclave Apparition, that's a very bad trade for me. So I think what I want to do instead is cast the Metallic Mimic.
Yep.
Naming Construct.
Yes.
And then I want to cast the Hangerback Walker for X = 1, which now enters with 2 +1/+1 counters.
Very nice.
And I think that was my turn.
I'll draw. I'll declare attacks.
Yep.
Although I still like the fact that your snakes cost 4. So I'm going to attack with my Skyclave Apparition and see if you want to trade one of your good creatures for a 2/2 that does nothing.
Honestly, my Metallic Mimic has served its... Like, how many more constructs am I going to play?
Right.
I'll trade that off.
I am a provider of spirit tokens. I've come ready for
Nice.
you.
Now this one, this is not +1/+1 counters. This
No.
is just stats.
So proliferating will not make your illusion bigger. I'm going to play a good magic card. No, it's not the Near Deadlands.
I mean, that was played in standard.
Yeah, it was
great in draft.
but not as much as the following card, which is going to deal me 1 damage.
Down to 16.
And I'm going to play Shieldred, the Apocalypse.
Oh,
That's the appropriate reaction to a Shieldred, the
Yeah.
Apocalypse. It's got Death Touch. It's a 4/5, which is almost Death Touch.
yeah.
And whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. That's me, not you. You, whenever you draw a card, you lose 2 life.
So I go into my turn,
Yes.
and then I lose 2 life when drawing.
Yeah.
Down
you
to
go
15. I'll actually, but I do still get the card off the
You
draw,
do get the
so
card.
Feel pretty good about that. I don't feel so good about what I've drawn. Yeah, I think it's time to actually do the Winding Constrictor.
The 4-mana snake.
That's so expensive. Turn is yours.
You know what I get to do? Undo the damage I've been dealing myself.
Yep,
So I could attack,
you could.
but you have a lot of creatures.
I
They're
do.
good at blocking. So I can take my time. In taking my time, what I am going to do is pay 1 life to play a Silver Quill Silencer.
Down to 17.
Down to 17. Now, it's hoping that you are silent, because when it enters the battlefield, I choose a non-land card name. I'm going to choose Snake, because I know you have one of those.
Do you mean Whiny
Constrictor?
Snake.
If you play the card Snake.
Is there a magic card Snake?
Whenever an opponent casts a Winding Constrictor, they lose 3 life. That's you, Yaman. And I draw a card. That's me, Carl. I will play an Iganjo and a Graveyard Trespasser. So if you don't play your Snake, it flips. When it enters the battlefield, I will exile your Hangerback Walker.
All right.
Which will net me 1 life and lose you 1.
All right, so you're at 18 and I'm at 14.
Yes, and you know that thing about attacking, it's not going to happen. So I'm going to pass the turn to you.
Down to 12 off my draw. Oh, all right, that's. I think that's a good draw from what I can tell. I'll start my turn off by casting a Syndicate Trafficker. Now that's also, like, this is just a Kaladesh draft all-stars. 2 mana, 3/1. 1 mana and sacrifice an artifact. Put a +1/+1 counter on the Trafficker. It gains indestructible until end of turn. Now, this, of course, doesn't remain at 1 counter if I do. Anyways,
yes.
That's all for now. I'll follow it up with an Iron Apprentice. That one, 1 mana, 1/1. Well, actually 0/0, but it enters with a +1/+1 counter. And when it dies, if it had any counters, I can put those counters on another creature I control. It enters with 2 counters because of the Constrictor. And then I'm gonna activate this Hangerback Walker. Up to 3 counters.
Oh.
But a 4th one goes on there. And I'm gonna follow it up with sacrificing this Iron Apprentice to my Defiant Salvager. Now there's 2 triggers. One is this thing gaining 1/+1/+1 counter off itself. And then there's this Iron Apprentice putting 2 +1/+1 counters on this illusion.
Yes.
All right, let's do this first. Illusion gets 2 counters, but that's actually 3 counters. So this is a 2/2 illusion with 3 +1/+1 counters.
Hence a 5/5.
And this gets 2 counters here.
Your creature's getting real big.
They are. All right, I've got a medium-sized Hangerback Walker. Carl has the Sheoldred. I'm gonna go for the kind of combo of sacrificing my Hangerback and then sacrificing some of the Thopters because I don't want to give Carl additional turns just sitting behind that Sheoldred, potentially drawing into removal spells for my important creatures, like for the combo. So I'm gonna go for it here and then start applying pressure. I'm gonna sacrifice this Hangerback Walker to the Salvager, which means not only does he get 2 +1/+1 counters, I also get 4 Thopter tokens.
It's party time.
It's party time. With that, I am going to sacrifice one of the Thopter tokens immediately to give this one another 2 counters.
Yes.
I think now is the right time to do this. We'll see. Now it's time for the red zone.
Okay.
Here you go.
So a 5/5 and a 8/8.
Exactly.
8/8 is very big.
It is.
I'm gonna have to block with all 3 of my creatures here because that creature's getting way too big. It's getting out of hand. Plus, the purpose of 2 of the creatures here was just to keep that snake stuck in his hand, and now I can just swap it out of there with the Thought-Knot Seer anyways. Yeah, but I'm gonna unlock your snake. I'm throwing everything here. This is a lot of damage.
Music to my ears. I'm gonna unlock your snake.
I will block with all this and take 5.
All right.
13.
13.
And this dies.
Yeah.
And this dies. And this dies.
And this dice goes back here.
Oh, very good.
Go ahead.
I will untap. I will gain 1 life. Woo.
Go back to 15.
I will draw. And I will pay white,
No.
colorless, and colorless
Yes.
to Thought-Knot Seer.
Okay, that's.
You thought it was another shield?
I can't. No, I was afraid of another apparent
apparition would have been real good.
But you said you were gonna unlock my snake. This doesn't feel very unlocked.
It's unlocked from your hand. So yeah, exile the snake with the Thought-Knot Seer. Now your board is looking way less mighty. And I feel like you don't have any good blocks, and I'm not blocking with Sheoldred. So
8 isn't that much life. At the same time, every one of my Thopter tokens is quite valuable to me. You know what? I'm gonna take it.
okay. 8.
8. My turn?
6.
6. I hope you don't play Ancestral Recall in your deck, because that can just kill me out of nowhere. Anyways, I do still get to draw the card. Interesting. Wow, 15 is Just too much.
Wait, did you have almost lethal? What kind of madman card do you have in your hand?
Not necessarily lethal, but like good pressure lethal is what I would like to call it. Anyways, this remains a 2/2 illusion. This gets in. Yeah, I think that's it.
I think I'm incentivized to force you to sacrifice some Thopters.
Yeah, I'll do just that. I'll sacrifice a Thopter. This gets not 1, but 2 +1/+1 counters.
Yes.
Gains indestructible.
And I take 5.
You take 5 down to 10.
This dies, you draw a card.
I draw a card! This is awesome. This is not awesome. I'll play a tap Blooming Marsh. And pass the turn to you.
Untap. I'll draw. What happens when I draw? I gain 2 life.
Up to 12.
12. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play another Shattered Sanctum.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay 4 and sacrifice it from your Deadlands.
Yeah.
To put 2 -1/-1 counters on your Winding Constrictor.
Oh,
now,
no.
Winding Constrictor has text
No.
that says that whenever you put +1/+1 counters on it, any counters actually, you put 1 more. Now, what's 2 -1/-1 counters plus 1 -1/-1 counter?
That's a tough math equation.
I know, there's a lot of numbers in there.
I think the Deadland Constrictor interaction is very annoying here. I have to think about whether I want to sacrifice 1 Thopter before the Deadlands resolves, but I'm not going to do it because even with the setup I currently have without the Constrictor, the attack on the swingback is still lethal. Yeah, put your 3 -1/-1 counters on it, sure.
Bonk. That was effective.
Well done, you snake.
And with that, pass a turn.
I love the sound of that.
So I have to exile it.
I'll draw.
You take 2.
I'll go to 4. But this draw was hilariously good, even without snakes. I'll play a Llanowar.
Hilariously good.
Well, it's my 3rd Hangerback Walker. I don't need to talk around that. I'll cast it for X = 2.
Yep.
I will head into combat. I'll attack you with all of these.
I unfortunately need to trade, and if I can't trade here because you can make it indestructible. Feels bad trading this for a 5/5 Spirit.
So you take 7 in total?
Yes.
Down to 5.
This dies, but yours as well.
It does. That illusion token treated me well. With that, I'll pass the turn.
I'll untap. I'll draw. How many cards do you have in hand?
Nada, 0, nothing.
This feels kind of bad.
Oh yeah.
I'll play a Thought-Knots here.
That's a classic feel bad.
Yep. Because then you'll get to draw a card when I block. It's your turn.
I'll untap. I will draw. Oh man, the top decks are absolutely treating me insanely
Is it a snake?
Well. No, I'm gonna Drown in Ichor, the Thought-Knots here.
I think that might be lethal.
Drown in Ichor, new card. New
Yes.
Phyrexia. 2 mana, target creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn. Proliferate. So this gets -4/-4.
Yes.
I proliferate, putting a counter on here and on here. And then I even draw a card. I'm gonna play it, Treasure Vault.
Would you like to do some math?
This is some math I can do. 3 + 6 + 2 = 11. That's more than 5.
We're going to the next game.
Game 2. For sideboarding, Jaden included 2 Phyrexian Scriptures against other creature decks, and they seem great here. I mean, Carl is also playing to the board, so a one-sided sweeper is just awesome. I'm gonna cut 2 Defiant Salvagers simply because I think they're the worst card in the deck, right? Like, just as it stands. And I still have the Trafficker if I do need a sacrifice outlet.
So we have a curve we need to respect. We're an aggro deck, we're a tempo deck. So we want to go 2-drop, into 3-drop, into 4-drop, into 2 2-drops. So we're gonna cut out things that we are adding when bringing in with the sideboard. We need these Hushbringers because Yaman's ETB triggers are gonna get really big. So we're gonna cut out 2 Silver Quill Silencer because they're also at the 2-drop slot. Also, I don't always know what's in his hand, and he plays out his cards really fast because they don't cost a lot of mana, so Silencer late is not very good. Now for the 3-drop slot, I have Peacekeepers. They're not very good against the fact that Yaman's cards cost so little in mana that making them cost 2 more isn't always that good, and a 3/3 is smaller than most of his creatures and it doesn't fly. So instead, we're gonna bring in Talia Heretic Cathar, who also is a 3 mana 3 power creature, but it has First Strike, so sometimes it won't trade. and it makes its creatures and lands enter the battlefield tap, which slows down Yaman further, and I need to get a lot of early damage. So his creatures entering the battlefield tapped is going to be key. Finally, I don't even know if it's good here, but there's a Clackbedge Troll. I see a Clackbedge Troll in my sideboard. I put it in my deck. Why isn't it not there in the first place? It's just a lot of fun. So I'm going to take out a Trespasser, and let's finally see what the Troll does in Constructed. Are you ready for me to have the play?
Yes, actually. You had the play last game too.
Oh yeah, it didn't work out so well. Well, you drew a lot of snakes.
Man, the story of the snakes last game, it was a wild ride, like a bumpy one.
It was a bumpy ride. Yeah, they were good, then they were bad, then they were good again, then oh, they were gone from your hand.
Do you keep?
I see a hand that's a 2-drop into a 3-drop into a 4-drop into a 5-drop with 3 lands. I don't care what those cards are. It's a game plan in itself. I will keep, yes.
This hand is unkeepable. I mean, it does have the Apprentice and an Ozolith, but yeah, I don't keep a 1-lander with this deck. I'll tell you what, here's a snake, and the right keeps being bumpy because
it's going under the grid.
This is not a keep.
Oh, no.
All right, I'll try again. Perfect. This hand has the Hardened Scales Hangerback Walker. I'm totally content with that. And then also the Trafficker if I want to sacrifice it at any point later. I'm gonna bottom the Llanowar Wastes because even if I do get stuck on 2 lands, I still have enough going on for me to, play the game. Yes, this is a better hand. I'll bottom this card. And then go ahead.
Francesco didn't give me a lot of 1-drops. So unfortunately, my turn 1 is gonna be a little unmighty.
My turn?
Yes.
I'll play a Blooming Marsh,
yes.
And I'll play the namesake of Jaden's deck.
Jaden?
It's a Hardened Scale.
I thought it was a card called Jaden.
And no.
Oh, Hardened Scale, I've heard that's a good Magic card.
It is. Yeah. I used to love that in Standard. It wasn't a great deck in Standard, but
it got better in Modern.
It did. Go ahead.
I'll untap. This is 1 turn too late. I'm going to play the most metal swamp you've ever seen.
Holy
And then I'm going to, yes indeed, I'm going to play Talia Guardian of Striven.
Yeah, that is indeed 1 turn too late.
Yep. So whatever you have in your hand, it's not a creature, cost 1 more.
All right.
Go ahead.
I'm fine with that. I'll untap. I'll take my draw. I'll play the most metals forest you've ever seen.
Very nice.
Yeah, I mean, this was a combo in Standard. It remains a combo in Pioneer. This is a Hangerback Walker with an additional +1/+1 counter.
It's very strong.
Go ahead.
I'll draw. We'll do the test. I'll attack.
How do I pass the test? By not blocking?
I think by not blocking.
All right. Well,
you passed the test. Congratulations. Flying colors.
I wish I could have done that in school. Like, how do I pass this test?
I'm gonna play a Caves of Kolos. Doop doop doop. Not paying 1 life, and I'm gonna play Paolo. He's upset at you. He's gonna beat you down.
No, that's unfortunate. Your deck's very annoying. I've got an Iron Apprentice, a Syndicate Trafficker, or a Drown and Ichor to choose from.
I think I have only 1 option. I don't care about your shenanigans here. I'm going to take the Syndicate Trafficker. It was too strong last game.
Yeah.
I have nightmares.
So it's exiled, but I can still cast it
by paying 2 more.
By paying 2 more.
Yes.
This is my turn?
Yes, it is.
I'll untap. I'll draw. Carl currently has the bigger board, and I don't want to fall behind too much, so I want to play the Apprentice this turn. But if I want to play the Apprentice, I don't have mana to activate Hangerback. If I attack with the Hangerback and Carl blocks with the 3/1 flyer, then I feel like I've got the way upper hand on the board, which I think is more important than trying to grow my Hangerback. Worst case, it somehow gets exiled later on and I just don't get anything out of it, so I'm gonna attack here. Since there's no easy way for me to get rid of my own Hangerback Walker, I think it's just time for it to hit the red zone.
Oh, now I remember how big a Hangerback Walker could get, especially with a Hardened Scales on the board. And if ever Yaman finds an Ozolith, that thing's gonna be huge. So I think this is the best block I'll ever get. Yes, sure, the Elite Spellbinder is good, flies, attacks in the air, but even if Yaman ends up sacrificing the Hangerback Walker, that Spellbinder is never gonna attack into the Thopter token, so this is a good trade. Sorry, Paolo. You're really good at Magic, but Hangerback Walker is too strong.
I feel like we both got kind of good trade here. Yeah. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this, but...
I feel like as soon as you get your Thopters, Paolo's a lot worse. So, might as well.
Right, so I do get my Thopters, and then I'm gonna cast...
If you cast a Steel Overseer, I'm gonna be so sad.
I'm casting a Patchwork Automaton.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna follow it up with a Dark Boar Pathway and an Iron Apprentice.
That's quite a turn you're having.
Now, first up, this one, the Automaton has Ward 2, so you gotta really pay your mana to target it. But it also gains a +1/+1 counter every time I cast an artifact, which I just did, so it gains 2 counters because of Hardened Scales. And then the Apprentice also enters with 1, but in reality it's 2 counters. Go ahead.
That's a lot of counters. Luckily, we have a lot of dice. I'll draw. I'm gonna play Blighted Fen, and I don't want you to kill my creatures, so I'm gonna have to Thought-Knot Seer. Tapping colorless with the Blighted Fen.
Could you stop doing that? All right, yeah, the Drawn Maker, my ultimate
exiled.
payoff. It's gone, and it's gone in a different way than the Trafficker.
So, I think it's time to pass the turn to you. It's your turn.
I'll untap. I will take my draw. That's a card.
A snake?
It's not a snake. It's another Patchwork Automaton. So this one triggers this one.
Oh yeah, they keep on getting bigger.
They do. They do start coming and they don't stop coming.
Based on the fact that he hit the ground running?
Exactly. And then it's time to hit the red zone.
That's a lot of dorks. I'm gonna give you the opportunity to draw a card before these get too big.
Awesome.
I'll double block.
Sure.
These both die. I take 2.
Down to 16 and I draw a card. Let's see if it's a good one. It's a card. Go ahead.
I wonder if I'll draw a card as well. I'll draw for turn.
Was it a card?
Yes, it was. It's a Shattered Sanctum. And with the Shattered Sanctum, I don't even think this card is as good in this matchup, but I really wanted to play it. I'm gonna bring in a Clackbridge Troll.
What is that? That's like, that was a barely playable card in Throne of Eldrazi. Like, it was pretty good in draft.
Throne of Eldrazi was full of really good cards.
Yeah. All right, so when it enters, I get 3 goat tokens. It has Trample and Haste. And at the beginning of your combat, I get to sacrifice a creature. And if I do, I tap the troll and you gain 3 life and you draw a card.
Yes.
All right.
Would you like your 3 goats?
Please.
We got leftovers from when Remy played Commander. I'll go to my attack step.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna sack a goat.
So, I gain 3 life. Thank you. I draw a card. Thank you. I pass the turn.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll untap. I will draw. It has come the time to play another very Metal Forest. Metal Forest also very fitting in the artifact deck.
Yeah.
And I will pay 4 mana for this lousy 3/1. And then I'll head into the red zone and attack you with these Thopters, the Apprentice, the Automaton, and a goat.
Well done. So that'll be
5
2,
damage.
3, 4, 5. Still 5. I go to 14.
Go ahead.
Okay, that's a clock. I'm gonna go to my attacks.
Honestly, yes. Please do.
Oh, okay. Feels good. I'm gonna attack for 8.
Yep, down to 10.
Okay. I'm gonna play a Graveyard Trespasser. When it enters the battlefield, I exile a card from someone's graveyard.
Yeah.
I gain 1 life. They lose 1 life. Boop. Bloop. I'm gonna lose 2 life with this Godless Strength.
So
12.
down to 13.
13. And I'll play another Graveyard Trespasser.
Oh man.
Boop. You're at 8.
Yep.
I'm at 14.
8 is a precarious life total against.
Especially when I have an 8 power troll.
Yeah.
I will pass the turn to you.
I'll untap. I'm gonna take my draw. So the sequence is to cast an Ozolith.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Quite a spicy one. The Ozolith is a legendary artifact. So first up, this Automaton gets 2 counters. Whenever a creature I control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith. And at the beginning of combat on my turn, if the Ozolith has counters on it, I may remove all of those counters from it onto one of my creatures. All right, fair enough. This comes into play. I'll also cast a Metallic Mimic, another artifact.
Yes.
This one, it enters the battlefield. I choose a creature type. It is that creature type, and other creatures of that type enter the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it.
What do you choose?
Construct, I think. And then I'm gonna pay 1 mana of the Blooming Marsh to sacrifice the Iron Apprentice into my Trafficker. Now this causes 2 things to happen. One is that the Apprentice puts 2 of its counters onto this Thopter token. The other is that the counters go onto the Ozolith. So now the Ozolith has 2 counters.
But
Oh no, this only works for creatures. It's a bit sad.
but what is a creature?
Yeah, what is a creature? A Thopter token is a creature. And then, finally, the actual ability of the Trafficker resolves, which puts 1, but then 2 counters because of the Hardened Scales. Whew. Let's move to combat. In combat, the Ozolith triggers, putting 2 counters onto this Thopter.
Yes.
But did I say 2? I meant 3 with the Hardened Scales.
Yes.
And then I think all of these creatures, not all of my creatures, but these creatures are attacking. Oh, that's a lot of creatures.
So as you sacrifice something with this.
I did sacrifice, so this is
Okay.
indestructible.
So I think this is the last chance I get to hit this before it gets way out of hand.
All right, so you take
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
13,
I go to 1. You're gonna have to sacrifice a lot of goats to make that control.
but I only kill one
Yes.
trespasser. You get a 1. So this automaton dying puts 4 counters on the Ozolith.
That's gonna make something real big.
It will. And that's my turn.
So I'm at 1.
You are. But I'm also at 8, so there might be a chance you're gonna get a goat sacrificed in your name.
I'm gonna need Miracle. It's not a Miracle card.
Oh, Miracle.
Terminus would have been great. The Iron Pioneer. This is still a pretty good card. So this is a tough spot. Yaman can't let me attack with the Troll because that's 8 damage. With this Iganjo in hand, even if he blocks, I destroy the creature and he loses the game, especially given the losing 2 life to the draw the Shieldred next turn. So he's gonna have to tap my Troll. So we have an opportunity. Because if I play the Shieldred, he sacrifices a creature, the Troll's tap. I gain 3 life. Then I gain 2 life from the Shieldred from drawing the card. Yaman is a conservatively playing guy. He plays to his outs. So if he doesn't attack all in, he's gonna see ways he can lose there. I hope he's not gonna see that Eiganjo cost 2 because of the Shieldred. Because if he attacks conservatively, and I manage to destroy one of his attacking creatures with the life I gain, the buffer of life I gain, I think I can get him on the next turn. But I have to rely on him playing it safe. But Yaman, one of his strengths and weaknesses is he always plays it safe. I'm going to cast the one, the only. It was really good last game, still didn't want me to game, but maybe this time I'm gonna play a Shieldred, the Apocalypse.
Oh, Shieldred is crazy. If I now sacrifice something, Carl gains like 5 life off that. That might actually pull him out of it, but I still have the Ozolith.
I'm gonna go to attacks. Would you like to sacrifice a goat?
If I knew how much removal you play, I wouldn't. If you have 2 removal spells, I'm dead. I'm gonna say, oh no, Shieldred deals 2 damage to me. No, yeah, I have to sacrifice a goat.
Yes.
I was deep in the tank there.
I gain 3 life. I go to 4.
You
I will
card.
draw a card.
You gain
2
more,
life.
Up to 6.
Go to 6. Feels pretty good. You did it. I'm not attacking. Troll's tapped.
All right. I'm gonna untap. I'll take my draw.
Going to 6.
That's a very good draw. I just have to make sure not to die to random stuff. Anyways, I'll cast an Iron Apprentice, doing heavy lifting this game.
Yes.
This one shouldn't be an apprentice anymore. Promoted!
Iron Master. There you go.
Yeah. It enters with 3 +1/+1 counters because Metallic Mimic, Hardened Scales, it's Construct, yada
busy.
yada. I'm gonna pay 1 more, sacrifice it to the Trafficker.
the Iron Master.
Now, first up, there's 3 more counters on the Ozolith, and then I also put 3 counters off the Apprentice onto the Goat, which makes it 4 counters.
It's a very surprising target.
Then the Apprentice gets, the Trafficker gets 2 counters. Then I'm moving to combat, putting these 7 counters onto my Metallic Mimic, which gets another counter because of the Hardened Scales.
I mean, that's not conservative at all. I said in the interview that you were going to be conservative.
And then, yeah, I think it's just go time.
Goat time?
It's goat time.
I mean, I have an Eiganjo. It cost 2 because of my Shieldred. I felt really clever. I'm going to kill this.
In response, I'm gonna sack it to put another 2 counters on the Trafficker.
And then I'm going to take way more than lethal.
Yeah.
Good games. Well, Hardened Scales earned its name because it's hard to beat Your creatures got huge.
They did grow big scales.
The scale was too large, it's weird.
Anyways, if you're into this kind of content, then please let us know in the comment section down below. Also, if you're not into this kind of content, also let us know. Just voice your opinion. It will help shape the future of this channel.
We love your feedback. And if you're not subscribed, if you want to see the next time when we ask for deck submissions to find out when to post yours, if you're subscribed, you see it in your feed as you scroll down.
Exactly. But for now, we'll see you in the next video.